All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in about 45 seconds. If you're still out getting a brownie, please use little plastic plates and bring them in with you. And bring an extra one for David. All right. Oops. Hold on. Oh, that's like maybe 50 seconds. Just a second. Interesting, it's never happened in 3.5 years. There's no place to add attendees to the meeting. Yeah, when I always start, I always add who's here, and then we can start the meeting. There's a link missing. It's a sign I need to sit in the audience tonight. It's a sign, Matt, go sit somewhere else. Just talk amongst yourselves, a slight technical difficulty. We'll be with you shortly. Heck, have another brownie. Another great example of what we should have. I've just been saying it. Now it's there. Thank you. I thought for a second I'd been recalled. Thank you. Okay. Just saying. Strange things happen in politics. All right, now you can go ahead. All right, thank you very much for waiting through our technical difficulties. We are ready to get started. Everyone signed in? All right, I will bang the Thor hammer, and we are ready. Thank you very much for being here tonight. We're going to excuse Mrs. Connect. She is on National School Board Association business and will have a wonderful report for us when she's back in 2 weeks, so we excuse her tonight. We will start the meeting. We're going to go ahead and have a moment of silence. If you'll stand up and join us for about 30 seconds, kind of gather our thoughts, and then Mrs. Carolyn Dreyer is going to go ahead and offer our Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Thank you very much, Carolyn. We appreciate it. The board would also like to recognize Chief Minter from the Peoria Police Department here with us tonight. Thank you for being here, Chief. All right, next item on the agenda is our staff recognitions, our favorite part of the night. So again, Mr. Hicks, I'm sorry, budgets are really cool, but the recognitions are cooler. Welcome.
Good evening, President Bullock, members of the board, and Dr. Stifler. Each year, we bring forward active members of our employee associations, which Peoria Unified has 3 of them. Tonight, I am going to introduce you the leaders of the 3 employee associations for the 2016-17 school year. First, I would ask them to stand. Once all of them have been introduced, I will ask each of them to come up to the podium to introduce their officers and share just a little bit about what they do. When I call your name, please stand. Francis O'Leary, who is the co-director of the Classroom Teachers Association, or CTA. Thank you for joining us. Trina Berg, president of the Peoria Education Association, or PEA. Okay. Dana Matisak and Paul Bauer, who are co-presidents of the Peoria Principals Association, and they are joined by Gail Miller, their treasurer. At this time, if I could have you join me over at the podium, that way you guys can introduce yourself, any other officers, and take just a moment to tell our governing board a little bit about what you do.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Dunsey. Don't be shy. If your name was called, please come forward. We need to show the students how we do it. Thank you for being here tonight.
President Bullock, members of the board, Dr. Stifler. I'm Frank Eager. I'm the vice president of the PEA. Our wonderful president cannot be here today because she has a young child who's doing the COOP program. So she's had to do dual meetings that she had to choose by, and so she'll be here a little bit later on towards the meeting. I am, again, vice president of the Peoria Education Association. We're a group, very strong, always advocating very strongly for the teachers of this district, no matter if members or not, always trying to bring concerns of the teachers to you and to also you, sir, as well. And that's what we kind of do every day.
Good evening, President Bullock, members of the board, Dr. Stifler. I'm Dana Matisak. I'm the principal at Desert Valley Elementary School. I have Gail Miller, principal at Oasis with me. We are officers for Peoria Principal Association. And we, along with the CTA and other associations, just again, it's all about supporting what needs to happen to be the best we can be to help our students be the best that they can be. And the mission statement specific to PPA kind of gives you an idea of our part of it. And it is to promote district public school education in the community as an integral to a strong democratic society. We support and enhance the role of the principal as an advocate for the health, education, and well-being of our children. And along with that is just nurturing that open communication with district to site. So.
Thank you.
President Bullock, members of the board, and Dr. Stifler. I'm Frances O'Leary, one of the co-directors. Mary Schuett is the other one. She could not be here this evening. We too advocate for teachers. We provide classroom grants, and I wasn't prepared. I didn't know I was going to have to say anything else, so that will be it. Thank you.
Before you leave, can we ask you a quick question? And the board members may have comments or questions as well. Let me ask a specifics question. I'm familiar with all your organizations. We've interacted over my last 3.5 years on the board. Can you give our audience, and we stream this as well, so there's a lot of other people watching or will watch the recorded video. Can you give maybe I know it's off the top of your head, a specific instance or specific program, project, or something that your organization helped or advocated for your group to kind of, again, something simple off the top of your head, but I really want people to know what exactly your organizations do to help make this a better district. So just one example off the top of your head that you can do, that'd be great. Yes, there's always a first person to step up.
We have provided some classroom grants for our members, $500 and $1,000. So I'm going to let our high school representative, Nicole Albrecht, tell you about the grant that she got from our organization.
Great. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, thank you. PTA provided a $500 grant after I wrote in asking for new knives for our culinary program and other small equipment that has been greatly needed for quite some time and hasn't been budgeted for a couple of years. So we were able to get that, and the kids are using new knives next week, and we're pretty happy about it. So I want to thank CTA for that.
Thank you very much. Now everyone's eager.
Yeah, now we're all excited. We're very proud of our participation with advocating for Prop 123. We really helped advocate and got what they said, the boots on the street, to get out into each of our communities, our teachers, going door to door to help gain that understanding to support 123 and having that passed, as well as advocating for the recent M&O, our M&O bond when we got boots out on the street to help pass that as well.
Great. Thank you for that example.
Since you want stuff that's going on in the past, I bring our old president up here to give that information.
Well, and
President, please not old.
Ouch. The exit's over there, my friend.
My name is Barbara Barkas. I am the outgoing president of the Peoria Education Association. And there's quite a few things that we do, not only district-wide, but statewide. A couple of things that I want to highlight. With Prop 123 and the lawsuit that came about that allowed Prop 123 to occur, was filed on behalf of the Arizona Education Association, along with the Arizona School Boards Association and the Arizona School Business Officials Association. So together, the three of us teamed up and brought millions of dollars back to the classroom for every teacher, every student across the state of Arizona. The other things that we have done is work with our Vote for PUSD Kids parent PAC to help pass the override. We worked on the planning committee, on the campaign messaging, and everything that went on behind the scenes before it came out to the schools. And then we have Jan here today, who, if you stand up, Jan. Jan, like many teachers across the state of Arizona and in the Peoria Unified School District, is pursuing her national board certification. Part of that is coming through a grant and training through the Arizona Education Association with the help of the Peoria Education Association. So we provide lifelong training for teachers, both at the state, at the local, and at the national level. And so Jan will be bringing that back to all of our teachers.
Good. Well, thank you for letting me ask. Would you like to bring something up for the future? Yeah, why not? I don't want to leave the guy. I don't want to leave the guy out of this whole thing. It's kind of we need some testosterone here, so please represent.
Oh, thank you, President. I appreciate that very much. The future, we're going forward. I know we have some other stuff coming down the pipe. We're more than happy to help the district out with. We know we have a bond override coming up, and that's all I can say on that. We're going to be more than happy to help and assist in that matter. We're also looking to help expand with the teachers, make them understand the stuff that's coming down from you guys, help them understand it. I know Barb does a great lesson on slows and helping a lot of our teachers understand that very well. She offers a class and teaching members how to put a proper slow together, how to be able to write everything correctly. And because of the class she taught last year, which will probably be taught again this year, we had a lot more teachers in our association that we had a lot less misunderstandings of what the slow was about because of what she put together and did, which was really helpful. And really, we're just here to help keep growing with the district and just keep kind of pushing forward.
And thank you for letting me put that on you. I'm very excited by the grants that you're helping with because, you know, troubled budget times these are. It's nice to see that everyone understands that as much as we may not like it, everybody has to do their part and help out, whether it's, you know, it sounds bad, whether it's $500, which is still awesome, or it's thousands, it's tens of thousands, whatever it may be. Thank you for making that happen and keep going forward, realizing that education has to continue despite the environment around us. So that's really, I really am happy, and thank you for letting me pick on you and have you tell something specific, because people really, I think, at least I do like to bite on the specifics and go, I didn't know that you did that. So thank you very much. If you don't mind, I'd like to turn it over to my fellow board members if they have a question or comment.
Well, I just wanted to thank all of you. I know you all have your day jobs, and this is you know, extra time put in. So we really appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Mr. Jonigan?
Yeah, I'll echo that. You've been valuable partners in many key initiatives that we have put forth, and without your support, without your tenacity, persistency, I don't know if we'd get a lot of that done. So thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you. Ms. Stone?
I'd like to say that we do depend on community involvement here, and I don't know how we'd get along without it, without you all. It's a blessing to this school, and it's necessary, and it warms my heart to see that people do see the need and are willing to put themselves on the line, and thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it. All right, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda is number 5, board recognitions, and this gives us board members a chance to talk about something that we maybe participated in or been a part of over the past couple of weeks. I can start with Ms. Pangarelli. Okay, Mr. Jonigan.
Nothing official, but I do want to just recognize what a great start to the school year we've had. I know it's day 2, but, I mean, knock on. But, you know, I did visit a school just where my son goes, and it was phenomenally well-organized, and it was a smooth process getting all the kids to where they needed to be, and that particular campus has a new principal, so it's very, very good to see everything working so smoothly, so quickly. So just hats off to everybody here that has put their heart and soul into making day 1 and day 2, and what I'm sure will be many more to follow. Great days for our kids, so thank you.
Great. Mrs. Doan, anything?
Well, I just kind of wanted to echo what Mr. Jonigan said. I have seen a lot of really good energy and some happy people, and it's really nice to see people happy in the workplace and happy to be dealing with our kids and teaching and just making a family. So, makes me happy.
Good. Let me dovetail on you a little bit. I'd like to thank our staff. One of the most, this is going to sound dramatic, traumatic things that can happen is the changeover at the top leadership in a superintendent. Thank you all, and this goes out to anybody who may or may not see this as well as everybody in the room. Thank you for being so professional. Thank you for saying, I will do my part and I'll do 10% more to get this engine moving again in this new direction we're going, this new chapter with Dr. Stifler. So thank you. I talked extensively with Dr. Stifler over the past couple of weeks, and he had honestly nothing except to say, what a professional group. They jumped in. They didn't wait for me. They didn't sit around going, oh my gosh, change of the superintendent. What should we do? Everyone jumped in and did what they do, picked up an extra 10%, which I know made your transition a little bit easier, a little bit nicer, a little bit lower blood pressure. So thank you very much for being so professional and making Peoria Unified School District the continued gem of Peoria, the envy of the state, and make it really enjoyable to be on the board. So thank you all, and anybody who may be watching. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, next item on the agenda. Oh, Dr. Stifler, I'm sorry.
Can I add a couple things?
Oh, well, you're kind of new, so. Yeah,
well-
okay, go ahead, sorry.
Well, let me start here. First of all, I'd like to take a moment to recognize Christ Community Church as they helped Sunrise Mountain High School create a unique welcome back message for the students. It was all over Facebook, all over the lockers, super cool. Sticky notes with inspirational notes were placed on student lockers on the first day of school, and this gesture positively impacted the 1,709 students that attend Sunrise Mountain. Actually, I would say the whole community. I saw people saying, my kids don't, I'm not even in the Peoria School District, and I'm excited by what I saw that happening there. So extra thank you to the church for helping us with that. I want to use that as a preview coming up for Love Our Schools Day coming up with nonprofit groups, with churches coming together and adopting each of our schools to make an impact coming up in volunteer sorts of things. We'll be telling you more about that. I'd like to recognize the Catano family, whose daughters attend Marshall Ranch, as they demonstrated a random act of kindness and donated 6 filled backpacks and school supplies in order to help families in need. The Catano family owns their own business and wanted to give back to the community and show support for their school, and honestly, it's resplendent examples like that. But I'm glad to bring forward the Catano family. That 4 of Peoria Unified Schools are starting green teams. Mr. Hicks is extra excited about this, I know. Ken, can you just, real quick, what's a green team? I didn't tell him I was going to tell him to do this.
Superintendent Stifler and board members, our Green Teams is an initiative for our new, for those schools to create student-led organizations that will help drive behavioral change. So we are doing an amazing amount of improvements across our district in our equipment and the backbone, but we need to look at the human behavior of how we use our energy and our utilities, and then also some sustainabilities. And so we're going to give them some tools. We created a 4-hour training last week to start training those teachers to lead those student-led organizations. So I'm looking for some great, that's taking us to the next level, that second order change for the savings and for creating a great system in that sense. So I'm very excited. Yes, that is very
It is very exciting. I'd like Dr. Carter Davidson to stand up. He wasn't here when we hired him last week, and there he is. He's just an absolute fine addition to the team and a great steal from Alhambra. And finally, I want to say just, wow. It's like This is a big, giant, excellent organization with 125 years of experience of just rocking this whole town. And school just started again. And it's amazing, the goodwill, all of the amazing things that are happening in our schools. I could not be more pumped or more excited or more proud by what I've seen. As you said, President Bullock, everybody just leaning forward, leaning in. It's a marvelous thing to behold. And I wish I could pull off omnipresent. I've been trying to appear like popcorn as many places as I can. Omnipresent might be a bit of a reach, maybe ubiquitous. I think somebody said try for that. It doesn't matter where. It's just amazing. And I'm grateful to be here. And I just want to say publicly thank you to everyone for that. Thank you for the opportunity, President Bullock.
Good. Actually, Mr. John again, who, and I apologize, I will forever from now look to you for some good news. I appreciate it. And may we keep this amazing energy going, and whatever the board can do, we'd be happy to help us into as best we can. Next item on the agenda is address agenda and consider adoption or recommend changes. This is a chance for board members to rearrange. It was Dr. Stifler's speech. I said, let's keep the energy going, and I went click happy, and I very much apologize because I talk about that almost every board meeting. I feel very hypocritical. I always say, please, community, please come and talk to us. Tell us your ideas, your concerns, and what we can do to make this district better. And I clicked right by it. Thank you, Mrs. McCarty, for using nice language towards me and gently reminding me. All right, request to address the governing board regarding matters not included on the agenda. Mrs. McCarty, do we have any green slips this evening for people to talk? Okay, let's continue with protocol. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 7, address agenda and consider adoption or recommend changes. Again, this is a chance for board members to rearrange the agenda for expediency or to address or help somebody who may be presenting. Anybody would like to rearrange the agenda? All right, we'll move forward as stated and posted. Number 8, this is very exciting. Report on opening of the 2016-2017 school year. Mrs. Dunsey. I was just thinking, as you're coming up, it was funny, in May, you heard parents go, ugh, and kids go, yay, right? Summer is starting, and at my house is like the opposite. My wife and I are like, yay, and our kids are like, ugh. So why is that, do we think?
You want me to?
Thank you for being here tonight.
She's not a fly on your wall, no.
And once again, good evening, President Bullock, members of the board, Dr. Stifler. I'm very pleased to stand before you tonight to report that we did have a very successful opening of the 2016-17 school year. We had more than 36,000 students attend school on Wednesday, August 10th. For their very first school experience, we had 2,293 5-year-olds attend kindergarten. That's approximately 200 more kindergartners this year we are very excited about. The custodial grounds and overall facilities were tended to all summer long, getting ready for students to come back to school. A magnificent job to all of our staff who helped prepare for opening day. Transportation was well prepared with their staff for the first day, in which 715 bus runs were made for morning, midday, and afternoon arrivals and departures, transporting over 10,700 students. The food service department also reported a great first day. Their staff prepared and served over 2,100 breakfasts and more than 15,400 lunchtime meals. The human resources department worked tirelessly to hire and process 239 new teachers across the district. It was exciting to see them and their enthusiasm on the first day of new teacher training at Centennial High School on August 1st. In addition, another 135 classified staff were also hired during the summer. Before school started, all of our K-12 and school administrators engaged in several days of training surrounding professional learning communities. Our curriculum writers spent the entire month of June updating curriculum frameworks. As you can see, there are a lot of things that take place over the summer to help make the start of a new school year a resounding success. Let's take just a few moments to take a better look at the first day of school from these pictures that were shared with us from across the district.
was really good.
As you can see, students are back and we could not be more excited. Our parents shared many equally exciting experiences that their children had on social media by using the hashtag #FirstDayFirsts. I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say that we are thrilled to have kicked off the 2016-17 school year this week. And without further ado, I stand for any questions or comments from the board.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Dunsey. We'll start to my left. Any questions or comments?
That was beautiful. I like seeing all the children and the young adults, you know, that we have, and it was well done. Thank you.
Ms. Pangarelli?
Oh, just thank you very much for putting that together. It was
Thanks to David Colley for putting that together.
Oh,
He's the
thank
man
you.
behind the scenes that does all the magic.
He is the wizard.
and it was a good final shot, too, the young man.
I like that.
Yeah, outstanding, well done. It just epitomizes why we all are here. These are our futures in the progress of being grown and shaped, and man, it was just a heartwarming video there, so thank you.
Did any other parents besides me look at like the young kids and then they showed kids in high school and went, my gosh, my kids went from there to there like that? Maybe just have like a time flash. Okay, it's just, I mean, both my kids are in seniors this year, and I feel really old right now, so thanks for reinforcing that with the pictures. Just thank you for doing that. And can I add one thing that was kind of hit on our last topic? I'd like to also give a big thanks, and this kind of reiterates it too, to our food service and our transportation department. So we talk a lot about teachers, as we should, but I think, you know, feeding our kids and getting them there is very, very important as well. And I know that they contributed. We see the end result of that. The kids are at school, hopefully smiles and excited. So thank you to everybody who put that together. That is really cool. Thank you.
Absolutely, it's a team effort, for sure.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right. Next item on the agenda is presentation and consideration of approval of an external research request submitted by, I'm going to mess that first name up.
Shay.
And I met you too. And I would never guess that's how you spell it. Thank you very much. Shay Fissel, Dr. Shay Fissel of Midwestern University. So thank you very much. And I will never make that mistake again with your name. Okay. Mr. Savoy, welcome, sir.
Good evening, President Bullock, members of the board, Dr. Stifler. I'm here this evening pinch hitting for Wendy Davey, our Research and Planning Director. This evening, I am presenting an external research application and an opportunity to work with Midwestern University and Kent State University. This research is presented to us by Dr. Shay Fissel from Midwestern University. This study will present a group-adapted shared reading intervention based on identified theories and models of intervention adapted for the specific child characteristics and environmental variables of children with ASD. Secondly, determine if group-adapted shared reading intervention leads to changes in emergent literacy of 4 to 5-year-old early school-age children.
Mr. Savoy, I'm sorry, it's page 9.
Oh, I'm
If you don't mind,
sorry.
no, I just wanted them to catch up with what you're reading from. It's number 2, on page 9, number 2. There we go, thank you. I just wanted everyone to see it while you're reading too and
Thank
talking
you.
about it.
I apologize. I'm in the batter's box, and she's provided a grand script for me. But the best news is I have the doctor with us. And thirdly, determine the effects of group-adapted shared reading intervention on child characteristics, including emergent literacy, joint engagement, responsiveness, and maladaptive behavior over the course of this intervention. The application has been reviewed by the research department, as well as administration from special education. The research is in line with best practices of this nature, and based on their feedback, it's being presented to you this evening for your approval. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Fissel is with us this evening. She's also here with a former colleague of mine in the Peoria Unified School District, Ms. Jenny Buckler, who had served in the capacity for many, many years in Peoria as our lead speech pathologist. But as I mentioned, Dr. Fissel is with us this evening and can provide you with more details and information regarding the study. And I asked Dr. Fissel to join me at this time and we're both available to answer any questions from the board. Dr. Fissel? If you have any questions.
You bet. Thank you for being here tonight. Now, one thing we always have Mrs. Davy do, and Mr. Savoy did a great job, we call it bottom lining it and simplifying it for us who aren't educators. What is it really doing, and how does it benefit PUSD?
So what it is going to look like is shared reading. So everyone can kind of, especially if you have children, kind of identify that, with that, where you are showing kind of critical emergent literacy concepts to your child as they're reading a book. And emergent literacy concepts are really the first way that children learn how to read. They learn to identify letters in the alphabet. They learn to identify sounds that are associated with those letters in the alphabet. They learn how to pull words together and kind of smush them back together. And a lot of times kids with autism are taught these skills in a very isolated context. They're pulled out, they're taught these skills one-to-one, but we know that's not really how they learn. They're very motivated by their peers, and they are really able to learn with some embedded strategies within the larger framework of a storybook. So what I've done is I've created some books based on some past research that I've done that really incorporates the way that they learn into the books. We're going to have some play materials, some three-dimensional objects that align with the content of the book. And there are a lot of opportunities for students in that group to see multiple exemplars, have multiple teaching opportunities to really learn some of these more discrete concepts within a group intervention activity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then the second part of it is eventually, because you're using the Peoria School District for part of the research and that process, how can this, once the research is done and you have boiled it down to here's what happened, and here is my my prognosis for the future of applying this, how can it help Peoria School District students?
Well, the inception for this idea really came from the fact that I was having a really difficult time teaching my own students because I have a long history of kind of clinical experience. And so a lot of my research is very applied and very in the effort of how can this actually help someone. So I've translated some very basic research and theories into like a physical product and methods that can be used with a variety of students down to nonverbal children who have complex communication needs. So I also believe in equality of good interventions for everybody, so I would be more than happy to share the results, to train teachers in how to do this. It's also a very easy to pick up on thing. The other thing that I noticed when I was working with these kids is their parents just didn't know how to really kind of connect and help their children learn some of these skills. So a lot of parents are very familiar with shared book reading. In general, they try to read to their kids before bedtime stories, things like that, reading to them in the waiting room. So this would provide a very easy methodology to get a lot of the parents involved in their intervention, which I find to be extremely useful.
Right.
So.
Will this become, or could it become a product down the road, like a packaged product? I mean, you've kind of already created some things. Could this someday become a product that a school district could purchase and implement?
Well, I have some kind of unique views on products. I've been seeing kind of a trend towards people developing some things, packaging them, selling them at ridiculous prices, and then trying to get other people to buy them. I don't believe in doing that. I believe in equality, so I do intend to see if this works in the first place. There are also a lot of products out there that no one has really looked at empirically, and then give it to the masses and train whoever wants to be trained on it, so.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. I appreciate your honesty on that. That's, not honesty, but just exactly what it's going to do or not do. And I'm interested to hear you say that about there's a bunch of products in the market that are way overpriced and may or may not even
Absolutely.
do what they're supposed to do. So.
And it doesn't provide the good intervention that we know a lot of those students, especially students with autism, really need. So.
Great. Okay, Mrs. Doan, questions, comments for the study?
I was looking at, does it say in here how long you're looking at doing this? I didn't notice.
It's a really long document, so it's okay.
Yeah, how long do you expect to take with this?
I would like to do some baseline assessments to characterize the skills of the students, and also get some kind of baseline data on them from some standardized assessments and then an emergent literacy assessment that I've developed. And then the intervention should take between 6 and 8 weeks, twice a week. I've plotted out some proposed dates, and then I'd like to reassess them only with the 2 emergent literacy outcome measures at final, just as kind of a pilot. Let's see if there's anything to this. I have piloted this project clinically in my own work, and so this is really kind of based on not only theory but experience.
And how many students have you worked with doing this, ballpark?
20?
Excellent. Looks pretty good to me.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Pangrilli, questions, comments?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions. I did go through most of the pages. It was quite
Good for
long.
you.
And I did notice your layout for the intervention part. You said it's 2 times a week, 30 to 45 minutes each time, over 6 to 8 weeks. And in that, you had asked for assistance. Let me see. It said that you wanted to recruit the assistance of 1 support staff. It doesn't have to be a teacher to assist with behavioral management during experimental procedures. Will you be bringing your own? I know our teachers and staff are have a tight schedule. Will you compensate the district, or will you be bringing somebody in to help with that?
I can do whatever you would prefer. I didn't know if you would want a teacher to be involved, just kind of see what was going on, and that person could kind of serve to basically just make sure the kids stay still for that period of time. It's probably going to look more like 25 to 30 minutes. I've realized that 45 minutes is just entirely too long.
Okay, I'm sure you'll be working with the teacher.
Right, but I can also bring my own staff.
Okay.
I will have a federal work studies student through Midwestern University, so it's really whatever you would prefer.
Okay. Now, it's whatever is going to make it easiest on the classroom and what will help your research the most. I did notice also the IRB on page 39. It was all filled out, but there was no signatures. And on page 56, for the principal investigator, there was also no signatures or dates, or a date included.
The project itself was approved through Kent State University. I was originally going to do this at Kent State, but then things just took too long, and so I'm doing it out here now.
Okay.
It was also just recently, it went through an expedited review process through Midwestern, and that was approved, and I actually brought the approval letter, so I can provide you with that today.
Okay, yeah, as long as we have the approval letter that has the dates and signatures.
Certainly.
Okay,
I'll
thank
give it
you.
to you today.
Mr. Jonigan?
She got my question. I'm always concerned about the burden on the teachers and making sure that we don't add more to their already full plates. So glad to hear that dialogue. It was a great question. I just want to say that the passion, I love everything that you're stating here. This is truly, or at least it feels, it truly is about helping others and not for the hidden agendas or so forth. So I applaud you on that. I look forward to the results, and thank you for bringing that to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to have the
Great.
opportunity.
Well, thank you very much. This is an action item, so it requires a motion and a second. Do I have a motion to bring this to a vote? Get down there.
I'll move that we will approve the external research request submitted by Shea and Fischel.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Please cast your votes. All right, go forth and conquer, and please let us know how we can apply it so we can make it better at our schools. We'd appreciate that.
Well, absolutely, and if you ever want anything from me directly, I'll give you my contact information, or Wendy has it. I'd be more than happy to help. So thank you, board members, Dr.
All
Stifler.
right,
I appreciate
thanks.
it.
All right, next item on the agenda is number 10, discussion and consideration of the appointment of a delegate and alternate to the Arizona School Boards Association Delegate Assembly. Just a quick overview, if anybody viewing or here tonight doesn't know, every year the Arizona School Board Association has in essence, a legislative committee that's put together, and there's delegates from every school district that are invited to attend to basically hash out and vote on the final agenda, if you will, that then is given to the Arizona School Board Association lobbyists to go forth and attempt to, better education in the state of Arizona. And so every school district sends a delegate, and if that delegate obviously is not able to attend, something comes up, scheduling conflict, sickness, the alternate then will attend in his or her place. So that's what we're doing at this point. So it happens every year. We need to then, at this point, it is an action item, so I'd like to first open up to nominations, because we'll need to nominate, and then the next one will be, an alternate. Hold on a second. Number 11 is the
You were correct, sir.
discussion and then consideration. All right, so item 10 is the discussion, and number 11 will be for the action item. So,
Actually, President Bullock, I think the way that it's written, it can go either way, but the way that it's written is this is for the delegate and the alternate.
my bad.
And then the second item is to direct them how to vote once you have somebody to direct.
You are correct. Thank you, Dr. Stifler. So item number 10 will be for the actual people, and then number 11 will be what actually they're carrying forward. So, all right, so it's a discussion item as well as an action item. So we are looking for nominations, campaigning, as long as it doesn't last more than 30 seconds, for the delegate assembly.
I'd be more than happy to be the delegate if supported.
Okay?
That was it, 30 seconds.
We have one campaigner. Mrs. Doan, I know you've done that. You did that last year, correct?
I was alternate.
Alternate, okay. Would you be interested in throwing your hat in the ring for primary or alternate?
I can do alternate again if Mr. Jonigan wants to be the delegate. I
Okay.
would.
Ms. Pangarelli, it's up to you and I to arm wrestle.
I don't feel like arm wrestling tonight, but thank you. That's good.
Well, I like to keep things fair here at PUSD. I did it 2 years in a row, so I'm more than happy to hand delegate and alternate to two other people. So if you're okay with that, Ms. Pangarelli, then I will go ahead and move that we nominate and vote for Mr. David Jonigan as the delegate and Mrs. Judy Doan as the alternate delegate for the 2016 ASBA Delegate Assembly. You check the dates and you're good for the dates? You good on the dates? Okay. And they do have breakfast.
Good to know.
Good to know. All right, we will wait for Ms. McCarty to modify that motion, then we will vote as moved. Actually, we need a second,
I
don't we?
will second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Someone's got to keep me going. Thank you. Thank you, potential delegate. Yeah, you spoke too soon, is right. Okay, great. So the new motion number 1 reads as follows. Move that David Jonigan represent the PUSD Board as the delegate and Judy Doan be the alternate to the Arizona School Boards Association Delegate Assembly on September 10th, 2016. So, is that good? That's good. You second that still? Great. All right, we'll move that to a vote. Go ahead and cast your vote, board members. All right, passes 4-0 with 1 absence. So thank you very much for volunteering your time. Appreciate it. Now we get to see what you're going to be talking about or voting on. Next item on the agenda is number 11, consideration of voting direction to delegate and alternate to the Arizona School Boards Association Delegate Assembly on items included on the 2017 political agenda. We'll go ahead and pull that up for a quick view. Again, all this is available online, so if you get home later tonight and go, I wonder what was on the political agenda, well, click and it shall appear. Kathy Connect is president of ASBA, so she will be presiding and running the show. You just scroll down, if you would, to the different point. There we go. Again, we won't go through all 6 more pages of this, but it is available online. We have had a chance to review that as board members in our packet. Are there any other items that you'd like to discuss at this point? This is an action item. It will move to a vote, and a positive vote, positive outcome will be what we are charging the delegates with. So we've talked about this before, so we're just fine. I'll make sure everything's good. All good? All right, then I will go ahead and move that we accept this recommendation to the delegate and alternate delegate to the September 10th, 2016 ASBA Delegate Assembly regarding proposed action items for 2017. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, very good. Use your touchpad. Turn that on, turn that on. Apparently, our delegate is having some issues. Just a second.
Not a good first.
That's my first item of business. I will use my mouse. We can go ahead and do a voice vote. Is that okay, just to move things along? Mrs. McCarty, we have 3 votes already cast. Mr. Jonigan, would you like to cast your vote?
Yes.
A yes, a yay. A yay from Mr. Jonigan. And no nays? All right. Then we'll record him as a yay. And the vote count is... Does it let you go through? Okay. Great. All right, we'll just do a quick voice vote. Mrs. Doan?
Yes.
Matt, yes?
Yes.
Mrs. Pengarelli?
Yes.
Okay, 4-0 with 1 absent. Sails through. Thank you very much. All right, next item on the agenda is a report and discussion on local, state, and federal legislative issues and activities. Dr. Stifler.
President Bullock, members of the board, very quickly, the Makisa website has published that 6 candidates have qualified for the 3 open seats on our school board. They are David Jonigan, David Sandoval, Monica Martinez, Jesse Carone, Judy Doan, and Russell McConnell. And that was just posted this morning. So 6 have qualified for our 3 seats. The State Board of Education is recruiting for an accountability formula committee as they're getting closer and closer to saying this is how letter grades will be established in the state. And they are seeking representation from various partners across the state. So that would be they're looking for superintendents, they're looking for teachers, they're looking for principals, they're looking for parents, they're looking for various different groups. They're seeking to do that. The Classroom First Initiative, Mr. Hicks continues to represent us well there. They are in the process of reviewing proposals. By my read on the situation, they seem to be focused on perceived equity issues rather than adequacy issues, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but they continue to meet on behalf of the governor. And current year funding does not appear to be discussed at the state level, but in my view, it should be. It is in the ASBA agenda. We even currently are working alongside other districts. It's complicated to share accurate data in the current systems. And as current year funding, and I mean, this is held harmless, but it is very difficult right now. And I believe that's overlooked across the state. And then my last piece is that I am grateful that the focus is really on the start of the school year across our community. And it, again, is just stellar, just stellar. Here endeth the report.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Stifler. Mr. Hicks, any uptick in the logic in redoing our school finance formula and that whole bucket? Have there been any meetings since our last time we talked?
President Bullock, members of the board, in relationship to the Classroom First?
Correct.
We did have a meeting this week. We set the schedule for basically every other week. We're going to be meeting throughout October and possibly beyond. As Dr. Stifler mentioned, the focus, adequacy, and equity, they continue to go back and forth. We have 14 proposals that have been submitted to the council for us to review. I've read through all of them, and I will tell you, none of them are really that good, but none of them have, there's at least something from every single one that we could glean in that sense. But we do have a very diverse board or council that there's probably some really hard work that's going to be going forward. The ironic part of the adequacy versus equity, part of what Chris Thomas presented to the council this last week was through nationally ranked or however you want, the highest area that we're ranked in is number 4, and it is on equity, which, remember, the council, this whole council was to get together to talk about our equity issues. It is the one place we're actually really good in. We were originally told we're not allowed to talk about the adequacy of funding. And so that is where is that going to shift over there, because the one area where they want to focus on is where we actually do the best. So even though we have little one-offs with DSEG funding, small school adjustment, bonds, overrides, charters, not charters, we actually do a very good job on the equity of our, it creates for a complicated system, so I don't know that it's getting simplified, and every time the legislature meets, you heard me say before, it gets more and more complicated, and I don't see that going away.
Okay, I should have stated my question differently on tag teaming on what Dr. Siffer said. Is it going to get, from what you're seeing in these meetings, going to get any better? And you've kind of just gave me the answer that I was not wanting. So thank you. as a parent, board member, and guy on the street. So thank you very much for that, for letting me hitting you up impromptu. Next item on the agenda is number 13, report for agenda items for future governing board meetings. Requests, I apologize. The chance for board members to request something to be put on a future agenda. I'll start to my right, Ms. Pangarelli. Mr. Jonigan? Okay. Mrs. Doan?
Not right now.
Okay. I know we have a couple of items we talked about last semester that will be coming up on future board meetings, so those have already been calendared, so, okay, thank you. All right, next item, consideration of approval of the consent agenda. If it's okay with my fellow board members, I'd like to pull, because it's awesome, number 17C, the donations report. We haven't looked at it in a while, and I would certainly like to bring everyone's attention to a couple items. If you don't mind, I need a motion and a second to approve the agenda as stated without 17C, or removing 17C.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda minus, which one is it?
17C.
17C.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you very much. Let Ms. McCarty modify that a little bit, and then we'll have a vote, and then jump to 17C. We'll pull up the PDF file of our donations report, and there, I think you're going to be very happy, as we always are. All right, the consent agenda minus the donations report passes 4-0 with 1 absent. So I'll move on to the next item. All right, 23C, it becomes donation report. If you don't mind pulling that up for our audience to see. I want to bring your attention to the very first one. We'll expand that a little bit, or zoom it out a little bit if you don't mind. Great. If you look at the first one, an admission grant for $32,000 to the Musical Instrument Museum, and that's over in Scottsdale, I believe, correct? Just off the Loop 101 there. It's to pay admission fees for all third graders to attend STEM and music tour workshops, as well as other student groups. What a great experience. Mr. Panzer, is that awesome? Okay. As soon as I saw that, your face popped up just with a big smile. So that's very exciting. I've never been there. It sounds really cool, so I may pose as a third grader at some future point. And also a check for $1,600 also from MIM for the pay the transportation fees to get everyone there. So it really is a zero cost, and it's got to be an incredible opportunity. The kids are going to be so excited when they come back, and obviously the teachers and those who are attending. And I would love to we have a check for $5,000 for Anonymous for school support. And I appreciate people like to do that too, but I certainly wish there was some way, if that person has any way of getting this message, thank you very much, for a $5,000 check for the elementary school. We appreciate that. And Allstate Foundation, Allstate, I believe it's Allstate Insurance Foundation, $1,000 for Peoria High School. So I want to bring, anybody want to bring attention to any other organizations they may be associated with?
Mr. President Bullock, members of the board, I actually worked to try and ferret out who gave that very generous donation, and I was told, Darwin, don't touch that. This person, it's a recurring thing, it's very important to them that it remain anonymous, that at the beginning of the year, in memoriam, they come to the office and they drop that off, and it's just extraordinary that that continues to happen.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we certainly respect that, but, you know, at the other side, you still want to just say, we'd love to know, just say thank you.
I tried,
Yeah.
I really did.
And you know what? I believe you did. So, good. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Again, and I don't, not to talk about the other donations, $1 we appreciate. Every dollar we appreciate. But we always like to highlight a couple that are either different or large or what have you. So thank you for indulging me, fellow board members. So we need to go ahead and move this to a vote to accept the donations report. I will go ahead and recommend that we approve the donation report 23C. Do I have a second?
I will second.
All right, thank you. We accept the money. Has there ever been a time when it's voted no to not accept the donation report? Hey, I don't want to be the first one, let's just say that. All right, we got our reports. We're going to go through a little quickly. Obviously, questions from board members, please ask, but these are all available online, and we strongly encourage you to take a quick look at it, especially the Budget, Facilities, and Planning and Construction Report, because it talks about how we're spending our taxpayer money to benefit our schools, whether it's safety, whether it's new roof, construction, new AC unit, new floors, painting doors, bathrooms, whatever it may be. I like to look at it to see what's happening at my kids' school. So that's, you know, a little selfish there, but why not? All right, good. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a report on upcoming meetings and events. Now that the school year is in full swing, I can imagine there's plenty of items coming up, and there is. I'd like to bring attention on September 14th, the Parent Organization's President's Dinner. If you've never been to one of that, board members, that's awesome because it's all the parents who are, again, involved and the heads of all the volunteer organizations, those clubs and those organizations come. We give them a dinner, kind of a meet and greet, as well as some speakers there, and it's always good. And at whatever elementary school it's at actually prepares the food. The students serve it. It is an amazing night. It's a great hour and a half if you have that time. And okay, high school progress report distribution. Yeah, I'll be excited to see that at home. All right. Next item on the agenda is a draft agenda for our next board meeting, which is on August 25th. Pull that up real quick. That is a 4 p.m. start time. So we're going to have an executive session before that. So just a reminder, that is 4 p.m. And then we'll carry on a regular session at 5 p.m. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is board member opportunity to readdress agenda items. This is our chance to go back in time if we forgot to mention something. Start at my left, Ms. Doan, anything to go back in time on?
No.
Okay, Ms. Pangarelli? Mr. John again. All right, we move forward to dinner. Consideration of adjournment, number 28. We need a motion and a second to go home.
I will motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. This is a voting item. Nobody leaves till we press the button. All right, 4-0, 1 absent. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night, and thank you for all your hard work getting this place going in this new school year.